AVAIL and NutriSphere are both made from a polymer chemistry. And that polymer backbone is the same itaconic maleic backbone for both AVAIL and NutriSphere. But on those backbones, there's functional groups. So we changed those functional groups to make the AVAIL work with phosphorus and both the liquid and the dry chemistry. And then we changed the NutriSphere functional groups so that it will address the nitrogen volatilization and nitrification, both with liquids and dries. Well, the AVAIL functional group for the granular material is sodium. It's a +1 charge. And then if you look at the liquid material, it's the ammonium ion. So it's the +1 charge again. So again, we're looking at trying to have a really fast reacting material that overcomes iron, aluminum in low pH soils, calcium, magnesium in high pH soils. So we want this polymer to release those ions and pick up the iron, the magnesium, the calcium very quickly so that it won't precipitate the phosphate. And that's exactly what it does, and it does a great job of it, whether it's in the lab or whether it's in the field. I mean, we can see the responses that we get from AVAIL. If we're looking at the NutriSphere, again, we're looking at the same polymer, but again, we're addressing those functional groups to, again, make this chemistry do different things in different situations. So if we have the granular material, and it's got a very high calcium percent on the polymer, and that really protects that urea when it's on the surface of the soil. Again, if you're looking at the liquids, it's being dispersed through the soil or across the top of the soil. So we use lower amounts of calcium because we don't have great concentrations of urea in one place. So again, we're tailoring these chemistries to make sure they perform for the farmer so that he gets optimum performance out of his urea or his nitrogen products that he's using it with. The American Chemical Society issues CAS numbers for very precise chemistries. And so for all of our products, whether it's NutriSphere liquid or dry or AVAIL liquid or dry, there are CAS numbers for each of those products. And they're listed on the label. So these are very unique chemistries. And again, the reason they differ is because of the functional groups. The backbone, the maleic-itaconic backbone is the same. But in this backbone, there's functional groups. And so when we change those functional groups, it makes the chemistry perform differently for different things like nitrogen or for phosphorus so that we won't get fixation of phosphorus. So on every label, you're going to see a different CAS number. And that represents the exact chemistry that we're using. And again, it represents the maleic-itaconic backbone, but again, those functional groups are changed just so that we can address the problems that we run into with phosphorus and with nitrogen. Is there differences between the maleic-itaconic and NutriSphere and AVAIL? And again, going back to that CAS number, those CAS numbers are very specific, and that maleic-itaconic is modified by these functional groups so that we are issued different CAS numbers, and then we apply that chemistry to nitrogen, liquid, dry, and to the phosphate chemistry, liquid and dry. So again, you know, it wouldn't do the farmer a lot of good to use a lower priced material that wouldn't provide the results that he wants to protect that nitrogen or protect that phosphorus. They're designed specifically to work with the chemistries that are listed on the labels.